Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the benefits of anger, the positive aspects of being angry and experiencing anger. Now, what I'm talking about here is not being destructive, not being harmful or violent towards other people. What I'm talking about is the emotion of anger. And why I'm talking about this, why I'm bringing it up, why I'm making this video, is because oftentimes people that get interested in, say, spirituality, consciousness, development, self-development, meditation, yoga, all of these things, somehow encoded in there is this idea that, emotions are bad, or negative emotions are all bad and have no positive aspects, and we need to eradicate them. And also the fact that if we experience them, something must be wrong. We need to cleanse, we need to detox, we need to fast, we need to meditate, we need to do yoga, we need to perfect something because something is wrong. So what I want to do in this video is talk about how actually that's not the case. Actually, anger can be used in positive ways. Quote, negative emotions can actually be used in positive ways, because essentially all emotions really have a place and have a positive application and a use, because in essence they're coming from our body, they're coming from our nervous system, they're coming from ourself, so inherently it's okay. So what is anger, and what is the energy of anger, and how is it used positively? So that the emotion of anger is correlated with the liver and with the wood element in Chinese medicine. Now, it's not something that's really that far-fetched, because typically you think people who have, liver problems, or maybe alcoholics, or people who've abused drugs or abused things that, as a result, erode the liver, they can be oftentimes hot-headed or short-tempered, or just, have a short fuse, or just get angry very easily. So this is this wood energy, and we're all very familiar with how it's connected to the liver. Now, interesting to note that the liver is the only organ that will just keep growing and keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. And it is the energy, or I'm sorry, the liver is the only organ that you can, cut part of it out and then it'll grow back. The other organs won't do that. So that's the energy of the wood element. A tree will keep growing and growing and growing and keep spreading its roots out and keep spreading its roots out, trying to get nourishment until it dies, until it's too late. So that's that energy of expansion and growth and constant movement. That is the liver energy. So how this relates to anger, and how this relates to how anger can be positive, is that to really illustrate it, we can take this energy and say it's a plant bursting up through the soil first thing in the spring. It's that little seed that went into the ground, hibernated all year, and then came out, and then it needs that whole huge rush of energy to break through and to grow, and to really burst through the soil, to burst through the blockage, to burst through the boundary or the limitation, however you want to look at the soil. So we take that, and we can also see, a sprout bursting out of its shell. That's wood energy. That's the energy of the liver. So how we can use this, and how this can allow anger to be a positive thing, is that we can understand this is the energy of the liver and energy of liver, in that it can sometimes be teaching us and trying to show us that we need to stand up for ourselves. We need to maybe establish some healthy boundaries, and we need to break through some sort of blockage or break through some sort of limitation, and then transmute that and transform that energy into motivation for action. Because many of us, we've had experiences where people don't treat us like we want to be treated, and maybe we don't say anything, we just hold on to it, and it just keeps building and building and building. All of a sudden, we just get really, really angry. We think of the person, we get angry, we don't know why. When in reality, we just need to set some healthy boundaries. We need to say, hey, you do this, I don't like it. Maybe we should work on this. You should change this, I should change this. Find some way to adjust it and use that energy to then break through the limitation, break through the boundary, break through whatever it is that's making you feel repressed and making you feel constrained and contracted. Because that's what the liver doesn't like. The liver doesn't like to be constrained and contracted and feel held down and held back. So sometimes, if some of us are kind of lazy, kind of just, put things off till later, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Sometimes it takes anger for us to actually get up and do something, because it actually takes a huge rush of energy for us to actually break through the soil, so that then we can actually receive nourishment. And this is how the energy of anger can be used in a positive way. Now, of course, I'm not saying you should go punch someone. I'm not saying you need to yell at someone or scream at someone or, be in any way destructive or negative towards someone else. What I am saying is that when you have this emotion, realize that it's not wrong, it's not incorrect, and it's something you need to pay attention to. And because, as the things I mentioned, there could be a lesson there. It could be a time for motivation, it could be a time for action, it could be a time for expansion and growth and breaking through boundaries and breaking through limitations, or just helping to set healthy boundaries in relationships and establish a better footing and a more solid foundation that then doesn't cause the anger and the irritation anymore. Now, this is something that I've learned myself in my own experience, applied this in my own experience in my own life, and had very positive, transformative results. And since we're in spring, since it's the time of wood, since it's the time of liver energy, we can walk out and see everything is doing what I just talked about. It's bursting through the soil and sprouting new life and growing and expanding and just opening up. And that is the energy of wood, the energy of the liver. So now is the time to focus on it. Now is the time to take this understanding and apply it and allow it to transform you, transform your energy, transform your life and your relationships. So if you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.